Hey guys, Sandy here. Happy The Secret Not Secret Kit Club Day. Today I am going to be documenting these two photos. This is a barn and this is one of the chandeliers inside the barn. This was a Secret Not Secret Kit Club retreat that we went to in Big Bear Lake. So I'm just going to use that. And then I have this super fun die from Concord and Ninth, which is kind of like a wonky hexagon with some florals. So let's see what I can do. Now the first thing I did was go into my stash and grab some of these beautiful papers. Now this paper that I'm fussy cutting right here is actually a paper from P13. If you haven't heard about P13, they are a Polish paper company. I had started following them on Instagram, and then just because I thought that their stuff was absolutely gorgeous. And then when I went to Creativation this January, I actually told my friend Christina that we had to check out their booth because their stuff was gorgeous. And this is some of the papers from them. Now this blue paper here is from Authentique, and this kind of beige rose paper is from My Mind's Eye. However, all the other papers hidden underneath of that blue are from P13. And they are just gorgeous, you guys. Like, seriously, absolutely gorgeous. I actually got some of the P13 papers in one of my Love from Lizzie kits as well. And that was super exciting because I love it when, you get to try new companies and new papers and new things. It really does make my heart so happy. Now this P13 paper is a thicker paper. It is a double-sided cardstock. I'm just using my scissors to fussy cut right here. And what's interesting about P13 is they have a 12 by 12 sheet of paper that has a beautiful print on one side, and then on the other side is all the elements to fussy cut. So they don't have die cuts. It's all about the fussy cutting with them. And I think that that's wonderful. It's just gorgeous. Look at that. Oh, so beautiful. Usually I'm not a fan of cutting down one side of a floral and kind of leaving the other side because I just think it looks kind of janky and unfinished. But I can already tell that I'm loving the way that this looks. There's the rest of that paper right there. It had 4 large bands of the floral. I'm going to trim down that little blue piece of paper. Now we know that isn't a little piece of paper. That is a full 12 by 12 sheet. And I am going to pop it down here on my background, and then I'm going to layer the flowers on top. Now I am thinking that something has to go between the floral sheet and that blue piece of paper, but I'll figure that out. Originally I was thinking it was going to be some sort of ribbon or twine or something like that, but I decided to go a completely different direction than that, and I am happy with what turns out. So like I said earlier in the intro, this was a barn that we had our scrapbook retreat in, and it was glorious, you guys. This place was amazing up in Big Bear Lake. It had these beautiful chandeliers inside the barn, and we had so much space. It was just a really, really awesome and really fun time. Now, this is where I realized I wasn't exactly straight. So I'm using my grid mat to just make sure that I straighten up the florals a little bit, bring it in a little bit as well, because I felt like there was too much of that blue showing. And this is where I'm thinking I need to get my act together and figure out what I'm doing. So these are all P13 papers that I'm flipping through right here. There are 2 different collections, and I'm sorry the names are failing me right now, but I do have 2 of them. I decided that my photos needed a little bit of a matte, so I'm going to use that blue paper again. Since I have it on the left-hand side of the page, I'm going to bring it over on the right-hand side of the page as well, and that's just to have some consistency across the page. I think that the blue is a great color match for what I have going on in the floral papers, so I figured that that worked out pretty well. Now I am doing a pretty thin matte on this bad boy. I'm not doing a big thick matte. It's just a thin one just to give it a little touch of that color. while it's on this big expanse of creamy paper here in the background. Now I do tuck in the photo underneath of the florals, and that's for two reasons. One is I did all that fussy cutting work and I didn't want to cover it up. And second, this is just wood that I'm covering up, so I'm not really concerned about it. I'm not I'm not covering up anything that is super important in this photo. It's just wood. So here is that beautiful cut apart sheet that I was telling you about. And then this is some 4x6 cards. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to fussy cut one of the shields out or if I want to fussy cut some of these labels out. I'm really not sure where I'm going with this right now. So what I decide to do is grab that Concord and Ninth die set, which is a beautiful die set, but please make sure when you are snipping it off, you realize where the little pieces go, because I am now missing the tiny little die set, the tiny little floral center of the flower. I heard it ping somewhere in this room, and honestly, you guys, I have no idea where it pinged off to. It just definitely pinged out into the great wide world of my scrapbooking room. So who knows where. I am going to also use this die specifically because it is the Rediscover Your Stash Challenge this month, which is to use hexagons. Now I take that really thin gold glittery washi tape and place it down my join right here. And I just love it. I just love it. I think that really tiny, thin touch of gold just finishes it off beautifully. And I am just like, I just think this page is pretty, you guys. Sometimes you create stuff and you're like, yeah, I like that. Sometimes you create stuff and you're like, yeah, that's nice. And sometimes you create stuff and you're like, man, that is pretty. And that's the way I'm feeling about it right now. So I went ahead and die cut these hexagons out of some Rhinea paper. It was a Rhinea and Brutus Monroe collaboration paper pack. And I also cut out partial bits of the hexagons, and that was because I knew that my hexagons were not going to totally be showing. Like I knew I was going to be using parts of them. Now I am using my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. Super awesome that my order that came, my order has actually come already, that I ordered over National Scrapbooking Day weekend, or International Scrapbooking Day weekend. So I've got 3 beautiful new tubes of this stuff along with my tube here that's almost gone. So now I'm just kind of playing around with these hexagons and trying to figure out where exactly I want them to go and where exactly I want them to tuck and touch each other and create kind of an overlapping thing going on. Ultimately, I decide that I'm going to overlap them like this. I'm just messing around and trying to make sure that my angles look good where I have them, because you know, sometimes things just might look a little funky, and I don't want it to look funky because I really feel like this is a pretty page, and I want to make sure that it stays a pretty page. So I use my super teeny tiny scissors to cut right there, and then I'm just making sure that my adhesive holds down to the paper and to the photo. And I'm okay that this is going right on top of my photo. I'm not super concerned about the longevity of them, and that is because I'm not really super concerned with the longevity of my scrapbooks. And I know that that might sound crazy, but I use all kinds of things in my scrapbooks. I use glitter, I use paint, I use metal, I use acrylic, I use plastic, I use fabric, you name it, I'm going to use it if I like it. So there it is. So now I'm going to start cutting apart some of these florals, and just look at those beautiful airplanes with these florals. I can't wait to use this also to create a page with airplanes. You guys know I love me some airplanes. So I really want to do a really beautiful page with airplanes. And then the other side of this paper is this gorgeous blue and white polka dot, and I just think that that's gorgeous as well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out some of these florals. And I'm doing the same thing. You've probably seen a lot of fussy cutting lately on my channel, and I just think fussy cutting is really like a good stress reliever. I know that that might seem opposite to what some people feel like about fussy cutting. Some people feel that it is more stressful, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If the fussy cutting is too delicate and too like, I just think it's going to be a pain for me, I don't cut it out. Like, I just ignored a couple lines and vines on these flowers. Like, I'm not paying attention to them. I'm like, that part is gonna stress me out. I'm just gonna cut them off. Doesn't need to be there whatsoever. I'm gonna do the same thing with those little berries. I'm not cutting those out. I'm not individually cutting those out. No way, no how. So they just get cut off. And I still end up with a beautiful floral. Now, I was toying with the idea of inking the edges of these florals just so that they would have some consistency. I really didn't end up doing that, and I think it's because I just really liked the way the florals looked on top of each other, and I didn't want to go ahead and, have that happen. So I didn't make you watch me fussy cut out all the florals, and then I used my gold paper scraps to cut out the little vines and such that came with the Concord and 9th die, and I'm just adding those as well. Now, this compass also came off of one of the cut apart sheets from P13, and I just felt like I needed something there to like kind of ground this embellishment cluster, because the hexagons were very light and airy, and I just felt like it needed something with weight here in the corner. So I'm putting down these little gold bits. They are super fun and super cute little leaves and things. So I think I might actually go ahead and die cut out a bunch of these and put them in my floral die cuts, because I just love these little leafy bits tucked in behind my flowers. I did mix the two collections when I cut out the florals. So there are some florals that are not from the original collection where I had that band of flowers. I wonder if I have it handy so I can at least tell you one of the collections. So When We First Met is the first collection with the floral paper. The other collection, I'm not exactly sure what it is. When I get it in my Love from Lizzie kit, the branding is taken off of it. So I'm not exactly sure what that is off the top of my head. Now I'm down here, I'm trying to figure out something else. I just feel like I need to add a little bit more down here at the bottom. I try to use these bright pink flowers that I fussy cut out, but they are a little bit too bright, and they don't really go with what I'm doing. I do add this Happy Travels sticker down, and it's a Simple Stories puffy sticker, similar to a thicker. I am using my, I believe it's my Spectrum Noir shimmer pen, and I'm just adding a little bit of glitter to each of the flowers there, just to give it a little bit of something. Now, I do have these tiny word stickers, and I can't remember which collection they're from, but I did get them at Joann's a while ago, and I chose the kind of like gray blue ones because they had appropriate word phrases on them, and then plus I felt like it was a good color match for my layout. So we're going to go ahead and get them, and they're going to be in each of my hexagon clusters over here. And I'm like, oh, I love this so much. I do. Excuse me. Allergies are kicking my butt. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of journaling Nothing too crazy, nothing too emotional, just that this was where we had our retreat for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. And it was gorgeous, you guys, like absolutely gorgeous. So thanks so much for watching. Happy Secret Not Secret Kit Club Day. And I will see you guys again real soon for another video.